Soccer fans, Pioneer is on the air. Welcome everyone to Hollway Field as our broadcast of this game is delayed, not live due to MHSAA regulations and the fact that we couldn't afford the live broadcast license. But this will be available immediately after the game has completed. So we are here at Hollway Field for the first round of the MHSAA playoffs. Pioneer 12-3-3 on the season. They have a 6-game winning streak coming into this game, starting off back beating Saline back on the 22nd of September 1-0. Then they beat Lincoln 7-0 at Monroe. They won by a score of 2-1. Then they beat Dexter 2-0. Bedford 8-0, and then over at Huron in a hard-fought game 2-1. So 6 wins in a row. Their last loss was out at Troy back on the 15th of September. So Pioneer would love to keep things rolling here, but across the way they do have the Belleville Tigers. Belleville is 7-8-4. They're coming off of a 3-game losing streak, having lost 6-0 to Fordson, 4-2 to Dearborn High School, and 7-0 to Canton in the KLAA crossover. They've had a couple draws versus Lincoln High School. That was back in August 18th. That was a 1-1 draw. They had a draw at Fordson back on the 13th of September, and then a draw at Livonia Churchill. That was a scoreless draw there. Their last win was versus Livonia Stevenson back on the 4th of this month. That was 2-0 win by Belleville. So 7-8-4 versus 12-3-0, but different conferences, different opponents, and it is the playoffs. So we will see exactly what happens here. As let us bring up the playoff bracket here. Several games happening today, as you see that Huron is hosting Ypsilanti Lincoln. That happening today. Huron 9-4-2 versus Lincoln 2-12-1. Of course, Pioneer hosting Belleville, and then Skyline is hosting Dexter. That's a 7 p.m. game over at Skyline. Skyline 7-4-7 versus Dexter 5-7-3. The winner of Huron Lincoln takes on Saline. That will be on the 18th at Saline High School. Saline 15-3-2 after their last win. So they will play the winner. By record, it would be Huron, but we'll see. That's a 7 p.m. game at Saline. And then the winner of this game versus Belleville will play the winner of the Saline-Dexter game. That will be 5:30 at Saline on the 18th. We'll put more up about it. Again, we should be able to have that broadcast, but it will be once more tape delayed. Now we'll turn it over to John.
Athletic Association and Ann Arbor Pioneer High School, hosts for this tournament game, are pleased to welcome the players, coaches, parents, students, alumni, and fans of the Belleville Tigers and the Ann Arbor Pioneers to this district playoff game. Let's meet the participants. First, for Belleville, number 1, Cameron Subata. Number 4, Luca Ignonin. Number 5, Drew Ruckno. Number 6, Kent Hollandquist. Number 7, Oscar Najera. Number 8, Austin Ruckno. Number 10, David Walton. Number 12, Alex Patton. Number 13, Benjamin Galindez. Number 14, Ryan Giltz. Number 15, Joseph Harper. Number 17, James Graves. Number 18, Jeffrey Graves. Number 19, Devontae Hubbs. Number 21, Lucas Altman. Number 24, Aiden Bantow, excuse me. Number 27, Gaetano Costa. Number 28, Malachi Voigt. Number 29, Mason Michelin. Number 30, Tristan Bullard. Number 31, Madden Murray. Number 32, Lucas Bryan. Number 34, Tanner Bailey. And number 37, Parker Mears. The head coach of Belleville, Brian Rupno, assisted by Kevin Rupno. And now your Ann Arbor Pioneers. Number one, excuse me, one moment. This will be in alphabetical order. Number 2, Adonis Anderson. Number 8, Lucas Anderson. Number 3, Reese Berman. Number 6, Rafa Carrillo. Number 14, Santi Fiori. Number 5, Josh Jacob. Number 19, Micah Jacobson. Number 30, Abdu Kaba. Number 7, Sam Kennard. Number 27, Carter Kerbaway. Number 11, Alex Voss. Number 20, Alex Kripkins. Number 10, Isaac Chuknowski. Number 16, Lucas Medina. Number 22, Brendan Moore. Number 99, Paul Para. Number 0, Ryan Queen. Number 26, Alex Leifler. Number 17, Diego Rivera. Number 12, Elon Seinfeld-Chop. Number 23, Felix Starosta. Number 13, Lucas Strickler. Number 15, Jack Templeton. Number 9, Jack Van Ryn. Number 1, Zach Wilhelm. Number 18, Tyler Wilkins. And number 21, Sori Yansane. The head coach of Pioneer, John Sunderman, assisted by Andy Irvine and Ian Novar. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you rise now, remove your caps for the playing of the national anthem. Please stand by. Thank you.
As we're getting ready to go here at Hollway Field, where it is Pioneer men's varsity soccer taking on Belleville. Pioneer in the SEC conference. Celine won the conference. Pioneer was number 2 in the SEC. Belleville over at the KLAA conference. I didn't get where they ended up on the final tally in the standings. But again, their final record is 7-8 and 4. The officials coming out, getting the ball set right at the center of the circle. As we are about to get underway, Pioneer are in their purple kits with the light purple across the shoulders and sleeves, dark purple on the backs, fronts, and shorts. They have the numbers in white on the back and in the upper left-hand corner, or right in the middle, excuse me, of the front, and they have a little crest at the upper left. Belleville is in white jerseys. They don't have their traditional yellow or orange, excuse me, on there much. So white tops, white bottoms, numbers in black on the back. And they have, I believe that's just Belleville underneath the numbers, white pants, white socks. I'm trying to see the front. They have the numbers on the front with a little crest up at the top left. So Pioneers versus Tigers about to get underway, as we will have the opening kick here. The winner gets to play the winner of Skyline versus Dexter. That will be 5:30 at Saline. I believe that's the 18th. As Najera gets things underway, moves it back over onto the near side, bringing it ahead is Drew Rupno. Has that knocked away, trying to move it over. Chuknowski over to Wilkins. Wilkins has it along the near touchline. Wilkins heads down into the attacking third. Wilkins trying to make his way past, and that gets kicked away and fired over on the far side by Ignanen, excuse me. Brought back, here comes Templeton on the far touchline. Templeton with the cross, batted up high in the air. Chuknowski brings it over, moves it back over to Medina. Medina lofts it high in the air, trying to get into the 18. That knocked back away, grabbing it. Lucas Anderson puts it up high. Curb away, trying to get to it, but that rocketed away by Drew Rupno. Back over on the far side of the pitch. Templeton with it, moves it on the far touchline over to Rivera. Rivera trying to avoid getting his pocket picked as Mears got in the way. That came all the way back to Lucas Anderson. Now back over to Templeton. Feeds that down over to Kerbaway, coming down into the far corner, and that's just out the far touchline. That'll be a throw-in for Mears for Belleville. Minute 15 gone here in the first. Scoreless so far. Belleville with the throw-in deep in the defensive third. And down the far touchline, Rivera has it there for Pioneer. Rivera has that batted away. Now Templeton able to dispossess Belleville. Moved over to Lucas Anderson. Lucas Anderson gets it back over to Van Ryan. Van Ryan over to Medina over on the near wing. Medina gets it down the near touchline. That tipped as Wilkins trying to feed it in, but that went off of Ignanen and out the near touchline. Last touch by Pioneer. Drew Rupno will throw it in on the near touchline. High arcing throw in, trying to get it over was Hubbs, and brought back down by Lucas Anderson. Lucas Anderson over to Medina. Medina makes a nice move, gets it down the near touchline. And moved over by Wilkins, now trying to get it over to Kerbaway into the 18. Kerbaway, oh, that just came off of his foot just a little bit to the inside and drifted off. Good opportunity, good ball movement for Pioneer. As now Belleville brings it out from the 6. Coming in with the head with it, and it's Walton. Walton has it set for a restart. He'll launch that all the way down, headed back by Pioneer, racing over to get it. That knocked down the near touchline and fired deep in by Hubbs. As Berman gets it back over to Wilhelm. Wilhelm feeds it down the far side of the pitch. Bringing that ahead is Templeton. Templeton fires it all the way down the far touchline. Racing over to get it is Walton for the Tigers. Walton sends it back over to his keeper. And flip back over, see if I can, I believe that's Savada. Moved over, now there's a shot by Kerbaway that just goes over the crossbar. Beautiful shot, and it made its way just between the soccer goal crossbar and the field goal, the American football field goal post. Now Walton to kick it away. 36-12 left to go here in the first half. Belleville sends it down, that tip by Wilkins over to Chuknowski. Chuknowski moves it over, Kerbaway back to Wilkins on the near wing. And sent all the way across the pitch and popped up high, grabbing it is Hubbs. Hubbs heads it up and brought back down the near touchline, trying to move it ahead. And fired all the way down over the center line, racing over to get it is Van Ryan. Van Ryan over to Wilhelm, who has it in the 18. Wilhelm gets it over on the far sideline. That will go out the far touchline. Be a throw-in for Templeton. On that far side, Templeton lofts that in and knocked down. Here comes Kerbaway down the far wing. Kerbaway trying to get it to Rivera. And knocked out the far touchline. Templeton with the throw-in. Kerbaway to get back behind the defense. Now flips that over to Rivera. Blasted away by Walton. And comes right back to the center line. Over to Lucas Anderson, right at the blockades. Lucas Anderson feeds it down the near wing. Gets it over to Medina. Medina fires it ahead. Racing to get it is Strickler, but that grabbed before he could get there by Savada. Offsides also called, so that will be a restart from the offside spot by Walton. Walton sends a low drive down the field. Wilkins plays it off his body. Now that sent by Belleville. Over on the near wing, pulled away. Here comes Van Ryan. Van Ryan over to Chuknowski. Chuknowski over the center line. Chuknowski trying to feed it through the defense. That batted the other direction by Drew Rupno. Had it up in the air by Iganen. Brought back over as that's knocked down by Altman. Continuing to feed it through. Berman gets it over to Lucas Anderson, just shy of the center line. Lucas Anderson over to Templeton on the far wing. Templeton lifts it ahead. That headed up by Mears out the far touchline. Pioneer with the throw in there. Templeton lofts it in. Chuknowski trying to get it. Walton knocks it away, but over to Rivera. Rivera trying to get it through contact. That knocked down. Hubbs heads the other direction for Belleville. We are scoreless so far in the first. 33 minutes, 35 seconds left to go in the first as Altman trying to put it into the near corner. Here comes Hubbs. Hubbs trying to get around Van Ryan, and a good save. Grabbing it is Wilhelm. Van Ryan did a good job of sending him wide, not giving him a clean shot. Wilhelm puts it high in the air. Played by Kerbaway. Back over to Wilkins. Knocked down. Wilkins gets it. Trying to avoid pressure. Wilkins comes back on his own side of the center line. That tipped up by Rivera. Knocked down, trying to pull it away was Kerbaway. Now over on the far wing is Galindez. Galindez had it, that out the far touchline. Again, Templeton with the throw on that far touchline. Over to Chuknowski. Chuknowski comes over to the center of the pitch, gets it over to Wilkins. Wilkins just outside the attacking third. Wilkins lofts it deep, trying to get it. Rivera with a head, and that grabbed by Savada. Beautiful head by Rivera. Savada, calm, cool, collected, grabs that out of midair. High up in the air, that will bounce right on the near touchline. Medina heads that back over into the attacking third. Pulled down, racing it back is Drew Rupno. He fires it out the near touchline. We are scoreless, 32 minutes and 11 seconds left to go here in the first. As Medina trying to get it over to Kerbaway. Kerbaway trying to get himself around. He gets the cross. That will go out the end line. That will be a goal kick.
Now in for Belleville, number 17, James Graves.
Trying to get it over is Wilkins. Wilkins moved it. As the wind is howling here, game time temperature was 68 degrees. But the press box is rocking and groaning with the fall wind here. Gives it a nice October feel in the press box. I love it as that flows down onto the far side. Mears trying to fire ahead, knocked away by Rivera. And will be all the way back. Mears will have it with the throw-in on the far touchline. And it'll be a restart by Walton. Walton set to kick it away. Lofted all the way down the field, knocked on the far touchline, trying to bring it over. Groton, Templeton has it. Templeton gets it ahead to Rivera. Rivera trying to get past that, knocked out by Hollenquist. At the far touchline, Templeton quickly getting it back in with the throw-in. Now racing down, Templeton gets it knocked away and moved ahead by Strickler over to Rivera. Rivera works his way back towards the center line. Now over to Chuknowski. Chuknowski, just couldn't quite get everything on it to sneak that ball past a pair of defenders. Now Najara coming the other direction with it, moves it over onto the near wing to Altman. Altman right at the center line as Wilkins trying to challenge him. Wilkins knocks it away. That comes over on the near side. Drew Rupno able to hold it in on the near sideline. Over ahead to Galindez. Goes out the near touchline. That will be Pioneer with the throw-in. Van Ryan goes to grab the ball. Medina with the throw-in. Lofted ahead, knocked down by Wilkins, chasing it over. Here comes Strickler. Strickler feeds it all the way over onto the far side of the pitch. Templeton moves it down the far touchline, over to Rivera. Rivera coming down just inside of the attacking third. Curb away, trying to get away from pressure. Ahead to Wilkins, and just a little too far off the foot. Saved by Savada. Savada puts it high down the near touchline, trying to hold that in is Altman. Altman moves it to the center of the pitch now, bringing it ahead. Here comes Austin Rupno. Austin Rupno has that go out the far touchline. Templeton again quickly in for the throw-in, now calling out signals. He lofts that high in the air. That goes back past Mears, but Mears grabs it. Mears kicks it over his shoulder. That goes out the far touchline all the way back. And thrown in by Templeton back over. Templeton cuts his way, gets it over to Wilkins. That tried to get it to Kerbaway. Wilkins with a shot. Excuse me, that wasn't Wilkins on the far side. That was Strickler when it moved it over. Wilkins with the shot, just a touch high.
Now in for Belleville, number 31, Madden Murray.
So Strickler on the far side got it over, deflected. Wilkins had it, and just a touch too strong. Good chance for Pioneer, though. 27 minutes, 45 seconds left to go here in the first. We are still scoreless. First round of the district MHSAA playoffs. Grabbing it, Templeton will have the throw-in on the far touchline. Templeton gets that over. Chuknowski trying to get it, but that slips right past him. That will go over to a goal kick. Walton to kick that away from the 6. As it is a windy day, rain on the radar for later. We're hoping it'll hold off till the end of the game, but Mother Nature doesn't take that sort of thing into account. As Kerbaway pops it up high, trying to get to Strickler, knocked down by Walton. Walton has been huge back on that defensive third. Now Kerbaway feeds it back over to Lucas Anderson. Lucas Anderson moves it over onto the far wing to Kerbaway. Kerbaway just inside of the attacking third. Over to Lucas Anderson into the far corner. Lucas Anderson with the cross and trying to get into the 18 and knocked out by Egan in. Iganen put it out the touch or the end line. That will be, should be a corner for Pioneer. No, that'll be just a, it's going to be a free kick for Pioneer and along the end line, right on the edge of the 18. That popped up high, trying to get it headed in, as that was Van Ryan with the head in, I believe. Pioneer goal. That at the 26-12 mark. So I believe that was number 9, Van Ryan, on the header.
Credit for the goal is going to Jack Van Ryan.
As it was a beautiful pop-up high and just a perfect head to put that in, and Pioneer takes the early lead on Belleville. Now, Najera moving things back. Gets it over to Iganen. Over to Walton. Walton pops it up high. The wind really starting to pick up now. It shouldn't have much effect on the low balls, but those high balls, you might see it float a bit. Here comes Kerbway coming down the far side of the pitch. Kerbway gets it over to Rivera. Rivera with a cross trying to get it to Wilkins, but that kicked away. I believe again that was Walton back there. Either that or that was Hubs.
Going to be a corner kick for Pioneer.
Both in
Lucas
good
Anderson
position.
will
They
handle
have
the ball.
both played fantastic defense so far. Lucas Anderson to take this set piece for Pioneer as he just moves it over. And sent by Wilkins back to Lucas Anderson. Lucas Anderson fires it. That save made by Savada. 25-15 left to go here in the first. Pioneer up 1-0. As that ball in along the near touchline, gathered in by Hubs. Hubs moves it back. Now that's sent ahead by Drew Rupno, but out the near, well, nope. Well, they tried to hold it in the near touchline, but that ends up going out. As Medina with the throw in on the near touchline. Medina gets it over to Chuknowski. Chuknowski, that ball came off of his foot weird. And pulled back over, trying to dispossess. Great job by Medina to pull that ball away. He gets away from another defender. Medina fires it into the near side. Wilkins trying to get to that, but that batted out the near side. Then rocketed down. I believe that was Galindez who fired it down.
Medina to throw in.
Medina with the throw in, that brought back. Kerbway trying to grab that as getting tied up down there was Altman. There'll be a restart just outside of the defensive third. Right inside the near touchline for Belleville as Walton lifts it high in the air, down the near touchline. Medina heads it up. That brought back over, but that will be an offsides call. And move it back. That is going to be Pioneer's ball as that, they say they went out on the near touchline. Throw in by Medina, trying to get it over to Lucas Anderson. Hicks it ahead. Here comes Wilkins trying to get back behind and grabbed by Savada. Just a touch ahead. Wilkins blasting down. Walton came over to make it difficult, but Savada able to come down and get it. That right on the near touchline again. Fired ahead by Hubs as Berman moves it over. Wilhelm fires it ahead to Lucas Anderson. Lucas Anderson trying to avoid pressure by Galindez. Ahead to Wilkins right at the center line, all the way over to Rivera on the far side of the pitch. Rivera coming down, but that will be offsides. Just on the edge of the attacking third, so that is going to be free kick by Belleville as they'll restart there. 22 minutes, 40 seconds left to go here in the first. 1-0, Pioneer with the lead. Walton to boot it away. Walton puts it up high, coming over. That headed down by Berman, down the far touchline. Trying to pull it away was Lucas Anderson. Now racing over Chuknowski. Feeds it ahead. That grab by Rivera on the far touchline. He reaches ahead. Here comes Wilkins. Wilkins racing into the 18. Wilkins chips it over, and that goes in. As Wilkins able to get to it and pop it up before Savada could come over and get it. Pioneer goes up 2-0. That had 22-13. There was
22-13, Tyler Wilkins gets Ann Arbor's second goal.
very little margin of error on that as Savada was racing up, Walton coming back. And Wilkins able to just chip it up high, but not too high to have it go over the keeper and end up in the back of the net. Rivera ended up down on the pitch. That is going to be a restart for Pioneer. Lucas Anderson moves it back over. As that ball set down, Berman moves it ahead. Lucas Anderson over the center line. Back over to Berman on the far side of the pitch. Berman chips it up high, and Savada grabs it in the 18. Savada just kicks that away. Rivera knocks it down, chasing it Strickler, but not knocked away by Mears. Right back to the center line. Rolled over by Templeton. Instead, over to Van Ryan. Van Ryan moves it ahead as Medina flips that over to Kerbaway. Kerbaway sends it back to Van Ryan. Van Ryan over to Lucas Anderson. Now grabbing that is Templeton. Templeton trying to avoid pressure. Templeton feeds it back to his defense over to Berman. Berman lifts it over on the far sideline to Lucas Anderson. Lucas Anderson from that far touchline moving ahead to Kerbaway. And again, we'll get an offsides call. Pioneer just trying to break that away. Walton on the restart just inside the far touchline. 20 minutes, 52 seconds left to go. The officials gathering up and talking things over. 2-0 Pioneer with the lead here. We're almost halfway through the first. Again, we will do our best to bring all the Pioneer games of these districts to you, but they will be delayed as they will be played right after the game. We just, please forgive us, we couldn't afford the fee to do it live as we are a volunteer organization, but we were able to scrape together enough to be able to make it happen after the fact. And if you do want to donate to help us, keep us on air, if you're on arborbroadcasting.com, if you look at just the bottom of the video player, there's a donation link if you want to help us out. All right. Looks like much to do about nothing as that comes over. Now they'll start it again. They'll try it one more time. Walton has it. Just inside his own defensive third. Walton boots it with the right leg all the way down, gets it into the Pioneer defensive third. Over to Van Ryan. Van Ryan trying to move it ahead. That knocked down. Now Templeton pulls it to the side, gets it ahead to Chuknowski. Chuknowski over to Rivera on the far touchline. Rivera heads towards the center of the pitch, moves that over to Van Ryan, who quickly fires it ahead. Got past a couple defenders racing over. That fired out the near touchline. As Drew Rupno saw pressure coming from Kerbaway and decided discretion, better part of valor. Fired it out the near touchline.
Now in for Ann Arbor, number 23, Felix Starosa.
Starosa in for Ann Arbor. Wilkins trying to get it, that pulled
30,
away.
Abdul Kaba.
Kaba also in. Wilkins trying to weave his way through traffic. Couldn't quite make it all the way. That fired ahead. Now Van Ryan steals that ball away. Van Ryan trying to move over and whistle. That will be a foul, but not enough to go in the book. Lucas Anderson has the kick from just inside the attacking third into the 18. That headed over and just over to the near side. Oh, Van Ryan was looking for his second goal of the game on a header. And that just off to the near side.
Number 5, Josh Jacob. Number 6,
Jacob
Carrillo.
And Carrillo in for Pioneer.
Number 12, Elon Seinfeld Chop.
And Seinfeld Chop also in for Pioneer. Belleville moves it from the 6 over on the near side to Drew Rupno. Drew Rupno trying to move it ahead to Hubbs. Hubbs has Wilkins trying to dispossess him, comes back over. Jacob sends it down to Starosta. Starosta keeps it, trying to keep it in, and collision. Starosta looks back and seems to be a little confused as to the fact that that's going to be a goal kick. He came down really close to the contact and ended up coming down also a little bit on that concrete back there. So hopefully didn't get any concrete burn there. That came back. Trying to get to it is Carrillo. Carrillo got tangled up with Galindez. Galindez restart over to Belleville. Walton has it set just on the Belleville side of the center line. And moved all the way down onto the near wing, trying to hold it in and knocked away by Wilkins, but that will be a throw-in for Galindez. Galindez gets it over, knocked down as Van Ryan trying to move it ahead. That will cause a foul and a restart for Pioneers. They'll kick it right at the 25. All the way down, trying to feed it ahead. Here comes Starosta. Starosta trying to get it into the near corner, and that goes out the end line. Couldn't quite deflect it as Hubbs was over there, as well as Walton. That's going to end up being a corner kick. They'll say that
Tyler Wilkins will inbound.
Went off of Belleville, so that will be Wilkins on the set piece. Pioneer's second corner of the game. They were able to score on a free kick from the other side. That quickly moved over. Give and go to Wilkins. Wilkins moving. Wilkins with a shot that just went wide a couple feet to the far side of the woodwork. Wilkins has been dangerous, and one of these times he is going to hit pay dirt. He has had several really good chances early in this contest. 16:33 left to go here in the first. 2-0 Pioneer with the lead. Walton get things started from the 6 as he launches it down the field. That headed up and out the far touchline. That'll be a throw-in quickly by Belleville as they're trying to push the pace out the far touchline again. Again, that will be Galindez. As that ball now will be picked up just inside of, just by Pioneer's bench. So they'll actually do apparently it was a foul, so that will be a free kick just inside the far touchline. It's around the 44-yard line. 15:40 left to go. And moved over to Drew Rupno. Drew Rupno has that taken away, trying to get it ahead to Wilkins, but knocked down by Hubbs. Now that comes down the near touchline. Moving ahead with it is Medina. Medina lofts it all the way down, but Savada has it in his own 18. Savada launches it the other direction, trying to hold it in. That goes out the far touchline. As Templeton back to Jacob. Jacob on the far wing. Jacob coming down the far touchline. Gets that over, trying to move it over to Carrillo. And booted up high. Now Medina trying to move it ahead. That knocked down by Hubbs. Hubbs the other direction, trying to keep it in. Oh, valiant attempt by Van Ryan. Ended up going down. Thankfully, he didn't end up contacting with that bench down there. That thrown in, knocked down by Van Ryan. Medina trying to get to it, knocked away. Brought back over by Galindez. Galindez has it, that popped away. Here comes Wilkins. Wilkins on a give and go with Starosta. Starosta, oh, just not. Just let him just a teensy bit too far down the near touchline. Beautiful concept. Wilkins just not able to get there. 14:10 left to go here in the first. Dark clouds, lots and lots of wind here at Hollway Field, but the temperature is still 68 degrees, but it sure does feel like fall weather. Templeton brings it down the far side. And brought back over. Seinfeld Chop trying to move it over to Kaba. Launched by Hubs. The other direction now headed down. Kaba has it. Kaba moves it back over now. Seinfeld Chop gets it to Wilkins on the near wing. Wilkins trying to head towards the center of the pitch. And was tipped away all the way back over to Medina. Medina trying to work his way. Excuse me, that was Templeton. And deflected out the far touchline. Berman with the throw-in on the far touchline. He gets that over to Jacob. Now Templeton with it. Templeton fires it down the far touchline, gets it over to Starosta. Starosta, and to get it back over to Templeton. Templeton feeds it into the far corner. Starosta has it there, trying to get the cross, and that knocked away out of bounds by Austin Rupno. Templeton again with the throw-in on the far touchline. Templeton gets it over to Kaba. Kaba has that knocked away by Walton. Went off of Kaba, back over on the far wing. Pulled back down by Seinfeld Chop. Seinfeld Chop gets it over to Carrillo. Carrillo trying to make a move, trying to get it past, folks. Over to Kaba, and again, Walton fires that right out the far touchline. Templeton again with the throw-in. 12 minutes, 20 seconds left to go. And launched up high into the 18, headed down, grabbing it. Seinfeld Chop has it knocked away. Jacobs coming over to challenge and gets ahead to Najara. Najara fires it. Moves it down as one of the Belleville players stretched a little wide, coming over. Here comes Wilkins. Wilkins takes a move to the center. Shot, and that just goes wide to the near side. Another very good chance by Wilkins that just a touch off target. 11 minutes, 35 seconds left to go here in the first. 2-0, Pioneer with the lead. Walton. Fire that away. Walton puts it high with the right foot. And bounces, headed back right at the center line. Knocked down. Here comes Kaba. Kaba stops trying to avoid pressure. Kaba has two defenders in front of him. Move it over to Starosta. That popped up. Moving it back over onto the Pioneer side. Berman gets it over to Medina. Medina lifts it high in the air. Here comes Starosta. Starosta and Wilkins. Wilkins has it in the 18. Wilkins puts it in! Wilkins fires it and makes it 3-0.
Tyler Wilkins at 10:58 of the first.
Wilkins with 2 goals now. He has really had a bevy of opportunities. And he kept on coming super, super close, trying to get his second goal of the game, and was able to put it in there. As assist to Starosta. As it was a beautiful play, give and go. Starosta had it and moved it over to Wilkins, who fired it in. Excellent work. All the way back over, that ball out the far touchline. Templeton with the throw-in. Starosta has it on the far touchline, battling. And popped out by Iganen. Say last touch Pioneer, throw in, headed back the other way by Templeton, out. It is going to be a throw in by Austin Rupno. Headed back by Templeton, but a whistle. Ten minutes, 10 seconds left to go here in the first. That ball knocked away by Carrillo. Coming ahead with it. Brought back Walton. Lifts it the other direction. Knocked down by Templeton coming down the far touchline. That out the far touchline. That will be a...
Now in for Ann Arbor, number 26, Alex Reifler.
So Reifler with the throw-in on the far touchline. Starosta has it on the far touchline, moves it back over to Seinfeld. Seinfeld trying to work his way through some pressure, moves it back over now ahead to Kaba. Kaba trying to move over on the far side, gets it back over to Starosta. Offsides the call on Pioneer. That will be a restart for Walton and Belleville. Pioneer has the 3-0 lead here in the first. And knocked down right back out the far touchline. That'll be a throw-in for Walton. Walton
substitution also.
Trying to move it down and out the far touchline this time for, should be for, well, they're going to say Belleville again. As that'll be a foul and a restart. And move back over to Drew Rupno. Drew Rupno puts it on the near side of the pitch, trying to hold it in. Is Hubs. Hubs moves it ahead, but that pulled back by Medina. Medina gets it over now. Carrillo brings it ahead. Carrillo gets it over to Rivera. Rivera heads towards the center of the pitch. And just out of the reach of Carrillo. Grabbed by Savada. Savada rolls it over onto the near side. That over to Drew Rupno. Drew Rupno moves it ahead. That tip by Rivera back over to Carrillo. Now Starosta trying to get it on the near touchline. He has it, holds it in, looking for a cross. Yeah. Dribbles back over on the near touchline, back over to Rivera. Rivera with the cross. That comes all the way over. Seinfeld chop, trying to hold it in, stops it. Now moving over on the far wing, that lofted up. Kaba has it, just now moves outside the 18. There's a shot, and that goes just high by Jacobson. Out the end line, that'll be a goal kick for Belleville. 7 minutes, 35 seconds left to go here in the first. 3-0, Pioneer with the lead. So everyone bundled up. It's not all that, the temperature's not all that cold, but that wind really, all the fans bundled up nice and neat at Hollway Field. Lovely crowd here today that headed back over. Here comes Rivera with it. Rivera moves back, just back to the middle third now. Trying to move it over on the far sideline. Carrillo has it. Carrillo gets it back over to Reifler. Reifler makes his way down the far touchline. Reifler back over to Jacobson. Jacobson back to Reifler on the far touchline. Reifler move it ahead to Kaba. Kaba looking for a cross. Kaba gets it into the 18. Back over as there's a shot by Carrillo. That is getting a hand on it was Savada. Knocked away. That will be a corner for Pioneer. Seinfeld chop to take the corner for Pioneer.
Elon Seinfeld chop will inbound.
6 minutes, 23 seconds left to go in the first. You can see that little flag on the corner just flapping away right by Seinfeld chop. Blowing out, and that's rolling the soccer ball away even. Well, that lifted, trying to get it lower, loose and grabbed. Oh boy, that good job by Savada is that he grabbed it, popped out loose, then right back over to him. Rivera trying to get it, that pulled back. Over on the near wing, making a move is Van Ryan. Van Ryan trying to get between a pair of defenders. Coming over to Seinfeld chop. Seinfeld chop with a shot. Savada with the save. As there was a whistle before that. Walton with the kick right at 15. That lifted all the way down. Berman trying to feed it ahead. Now over onto the near wing. Rivera trying to chase it away. Move back over to Drew Rupno. Drew Rupno puts it high, arcing up in the air. That comes out the near touchline, and that'll go actually all the way into the fans. Drew Rupno with the throw-in.
James Graves, number 17, in for Belleville.
James Graves in for Belleville. Drew Rupno. And moved ahead. Here comes Jacobson. Jacobson trying to get it ahead to Kaba. Kaba over the center line. Kaba moves it all the way down on the far side. Seinfeld chop can't quite hold it in the far touchline. Now we'll go all the way back in the corner. 4 minutes, 15 seconds
Also
here at a
in
wind-blown
for
Hollway
Belleville,
field.
number 1, Cameron Savada.
Or excuse me, Savada in. That means I got to figure out exactly who the keeper is. As forgive me for the Belleville keeper, I thought that was Savada.
Ann Arbor, number 14, Santi Fiore.
Fiore on for Ann Arbor. That's sent by Reifler on the cross. End up deflecting that, went out the end line. That will be a corner for Pioneer as Seinfeld Chop will take this corner. 3 minutes, 25 seconds left to go in the first, and over and grabbed by the Belleville keeper as he quickly kicks it away, and boy, that moves right over as that curved over. Fiore gets it, trying to move it ahead by Starosta and in, but a whistle offsides. Starosta almost got his second assist, and that just touch offsides. That will be a restart. As Walton on the kick. And knocked back over by Kennard. Trying to pull it ahead. That knocked down. Fired the other direction by Iganen. Here comes Kennard. Kennard actually doesn't have that cast on anymore. Looks like that was taken off. Happy for him. That couldn't have been comfortable. Over on the far touchline, bringing it ahead is Reifler. Reifler racing. Gets it over to Seinfeld Chop. Seinfeld Chop. Moves it back. That knocked away. Racing over to get it. Pulled back over by Berman. Berman gets it over to Kennard. Kennard on the near touchline trying to get around Savada. And ahead knocked down by Austin Rupno on the far touchline, but that goes out. 1 minute, 45 seconds left to go here in the second. As Carrillo had it on the far touchline. And brought back over, ball loose as deflected up in the air as Drew Rupno ended up hitting that off of a Pioneer player. Here comes Fiore. Fiore as that knocked away, dispossessed by Galindez. Back over, coming, Hubbs has it, Hubbs moves it over, that chipped ahead, now headed back the other direction by Van Ryan. Carrillo trying to race through, trying to get past Hullenquist. And rocketed back, Mears fires it down the pitch. Van Ryan coming ahead with it, Van Ryan ahead to Kaba. Kaba coming down the far wing. Kaba moves it over to Seinfeld Chop. Seinfeld Chop gets it ahead. Here comes Starosta. Offsides. Oh, what an attempt by Starosta. That will be kicked away. About 15 yards inside of the defensive third. 30 seconds left to go before halftime. And brought down, knocked down by Savada, brought the other direction as chipped over by Jacobson, but knocked down. Here comes Fiore. Fiore over to Jacobson. Jacobson moving it, trying to get it to Kaba. Kaba comes back towards center, moves it over on the far wing to Reifler. Reifler trying to get past. 3 seconds left to go. And that will do it for the first half. 3-0 Pioneer with the lead is in there. It was a goal by Van Ryan heading it in. off of a set piece. Then that was at 26-12. Then at 22-13, it was Wilkins putting it in. Then at 10:35, it was Wilkins from Starosta. Let us play a few messages from the MHSAA.
The love of the game draws us to sports, as players, coaches, spectators, and officials. For officials, it's a way to stay in the game they once played, to feel the thrill of putting on the uniform, stepping out of the playing surface, hustling to make the call, and building the relationships which can only be built in sports. If you still have that love for the game, we always need new officials. Register now at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Sportsmanship has never been more important between the lines in athletics and outside those lines in our communities. To listen, to respect, to understand, to practice common decency, to have competition without contentiousness. Sportsmanlike qualities are essential components of life itself. Let's all work together to not only be good sports, but good people. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Have we gotten to the point where at some high school game that an official has finally had enough from coaches, players, and adults, pulls off the whistle, and offers it to you? Let's hope not. There's no way you could do a better job. It's on everyone to promote good sportsmanship. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Nearly 2,000 of the state's top student athletes will be recognized for excelling academically and in school activities through the MHSAA's Scholar Athlete Award, underwritten by Farm Bureau Insurance. The applicants will be in the running for a total of 32 $1,000 college scholarships. Application materials are available exclusively online through the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Can you go anywhere and find an endeavor in society where we've come to accept and tolerate an adult, and even kids, treating another adult the way we allow spectators, coaches, and players to treat a high school game official? Can you? No one has the right to abuse game officials. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Here are 5 more good reasons for multi-sport participation. Multi-sport athletes are more coachable. They have higher athletic ceilings. They become better talent in the long run. They have higher sports IQs. Their sports skills transfer, and they are better teammates. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the Health and Safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
at Hollway Field for the first round of the District 10 playoffs. It is officially hosted by the Saline Hornets, but this first round is indeed at campus site. So right now, Huron is playing Ypsilanti Lincoln at Huron. I believe that game was at 5:30 as well. The winner of that game gets to play Saline. Saline has a bye to 7. They will have the game on the 18th at 7 p.m. So Huron versus Lincoln, winner plays Saline at 7 p.m. on the 18th at Hornet Stadium. Then this game between Pioneer and Belleville, the winner will play the winner of Skyline versus Dexter. I believe that was a 7 o'clock game. So those two teams will play the winner of this game. That will be at 5:30 on the 18th at Saline. Again, we do have the rights to be able to broadcast that, but it will be after the fact again as well. So it's a delayed broadcast. So 5 minutes after the game, as soon as the recording is available for us, we'll switch it, and you will be able to see that. Same thing if Pioneer makes it all the way to the 20th. The final will be at Saline High School on the 20th at 7 p.m. The winner of Saline and the winner of Huron versus Lincoln versus the winner of Ann Arbor Belleville versus the winner of Skyline Dexter. So, yes, all of that. Let's remove that and get ready for action here in the second. Pioneer has the 3-0 lead as maybe advance the half. 40 minutes up on the board, getting ready. Pioneer with a 3-goal lead. The win continues to really make itself felt. Occasionally hear it, no matter how much windscreens we have on our field, Mike. And fired away all the way down the pitch by Lucas Anderson, trying to get it into the 18. Reaching over is Wilkins. Wilkins makes a nifty move, coming over. Wilkins with a shot, and he has a hat trick. Wilkins puts it in here at the second. And 39-48, he was hemmed in on the far side and managed to deke his way over and about and get free and then fire it to the far side of the goal. As Belleville brings things back. Picked up, coming over was Agonin. And over on the far wing, here comes Wilkins again, gets it over to Kerbway, trying to give a give and go, but that knocked back and a offsides called. The temperature has not dropped at all, still 68 degrees here at Hollway Field. But the wind has been steadily increasing throughout this contest. We are hoping, radar showed that rain about 7 o'clock. We're hoping that that will be delayed in coming, as all these wonderful, amazing fans don't really need to get soggy. But Mother Nature has her own plans. And thrown in over to Van Ryn. Van Ryn gets it ahead to Chuknowski. Chuknowski moves it back to Berman. Berman in his defensive third. To Templeton on the near wing. Templeton feeds it down the near touchline. Over to Rivera. Rivera brings it towards the center of the pitch. Back to Chuknowski. Chuknowski bringing it ahead to the center line. Chuknowski gets it between a pair of defenders over to Lucas Anderson. Now to Templeton on the near wing. Templeton feeds ahead. Here comes Chuknowski on a give and go. Chuknowski moves it over. Oh, trying to get it to Strickler. And Strickler just couldn't get his foot on it. Very close. Beautifully set up. Just a moment too far. 4-0 Pioneer with the lead as we approach the 38-minute mark. Walton again. And fired quickly down. That ball brought ahead by Strickler. Deflected off, but here comes a shot and a score. Wilkins has 4.
Pioneer goal. Tyler Wilkins.
As it was deflected over and back, and Wilkins, 2 minutes after his last goal, fires it in, and it is 5-0 Pioneer. 2 early goals in the second. That was a blast from outside the 18. Pretty sure I saw Martinelli score that same goal in the Liverpool Arsenal game the other day. Similar, just from the near side. That was a beautiful, beautiful goal. Back over. Entire Pioneer team playing fantastic against the solid Belleville squad. That coming down on the far side as Medina ends up out. Got tangled up. Van Ryan will bring it in. Moved over to Lucas Anderson. Lucas Anderson brings it over the center line. Lucas Anderson ahead with it. As bringing it down, Kerbaway feeds it on the far side of the pitch, back over to Chuknowski. Now Lucas Anderson on the near wing, over to Templeton. Templeton brings it down, puts it up high, trying to race over to get it. Able to hold it in was Kerfkins. Kerfkins comes down into the 18. Kerfkins, that deflected by the defense, out the end line. That is going to be a corner for Pioneer. Kerfkins will take it. No, they're going to change that over.
Adonis Anderson, number 2, in for
That is
Pioneer.
going to be a goal kick for Belleville. And the official's in better position than I am. That lifted back down the far touchline. Racing over to get it is Van Ryan. That goes out the far touchline, just in front of the Belleville bench. Medina gets it back to Van Ryan. Van Ryan started off the scoring for Pioneer with a header off of a set piece. Jacobson ahead to Lucas Anderson. Lucas Anderson back to Van Ryan. Van Ryan over to Medina. Medina coming up the far wing. Medina trying to get it over to Kerbaway. That knocked away. Volleyed back by Van Ryan. Hold down. Here comes Templeton. Templeton gets it out of his own defensive third. Over to Adonis Anderson. Adonis Anderson back to Templeton. Templeton comes up over the center line. Gets it to Rivera. Rivera trying to dribble pass through traffic. Rivera over to Strickler. Strickler has it on the center of the pitch. Strickler knocked away by Igonen. Rivera trying to get in. That rocketed all the way back into the middle third. Picked up by Adonis Anderson. He one-touches it ahead to Chuknowski, but that all the way back to Lucas Anderson. Lucas Anderson rolls it over to Van Ryan. Van Ryan heads up the middle of the pitch. He flicks that over to Adonis Anderson. Adonis Anderson moves it right back to Lucas Anderson right at the center line. Lucas Anderson racing down the far wing. And over into the far corner, holding that in is Kerfkins. Kerfkins trying to make a move, excuse me. Strickler back over. Strickler trying to get that shot and a save. By the way, it's Bailey. Tanner Bailey is the keeper for Belleville. We apologize, I was saying Savada earlier. And want to give credit where credit is due. That ball all the way back out the far touchline, deep in the Pioneer defensive third. 34 minutes, 5 seconds left to go here in the second. 5-0 Pioneer with the lead. They will play the winner of Huron-Dexter. I believe that game is upcoming later. Racing ahead, here comes Van Ryan. That game should be at Huron, so I believe they have the NFHS network if you wanted to do a little scouting. Drew up, no. Pioneer and thrown in by Medina. Medina, that curb away, heads it over to Strickler. He was dispossessed by Hubbs. Hubbs comes up the other direction. That's sent back in the air, moved over. Lucas Anderson trying to get to it. Now here comes Medina. Medina has that knocked away by Galindez. Galindez with the cross, knocked down. Good job, both Lucas Anderson and Templeton getting in the way. Brings that all the way back. Here comes Pioneer. Moved over, fired ahead by Chuknowski. Into the near corner it goes. And to bring it over is Kerbaway. Kerbaway, two defenders in front of him, just on the edge of the 18. Gets it back to Adonis Anderson. Adonis Anderson chips it and just floated over to the far side. Bailey moves over to Walton, who will get things going again from the 6. Walt, it's on a give and go from Ignonen. All the way back, stopped by Pioneer. That ball pulled over by Strickler. Strickler fires it into the attacking third. That just out of Rivera's reach. That will go out the end line and will result in a goal kick.
And under substitution, number 7, Sam Kennard.
Kennard in for Pioneer. Kennard kicks it, or excuse me, that was Walton moving it away. Over on the far wing. Fedad pulled down. Here comes Pioneer. Down on the far wing, trying to make his way over is Chuknowski. That sent all the way deep by Belleville. Kennard grabs it back in his defensive third. As Wilhelm puts it over on the far side of the pitch. That brought ahead Chuknowski, racing ahead with it. Chuknowski moves over. Here comes. Fired ahead, tipped by Strickler, grabbed. That grab by Wilhelm, over on the near wing to Templeton. Fired all the way down, moved ahead by Kerbaway, over to Rivera. Rivera makes a move, gets around Mears, and was knocked down by Walton, but picked up, fired right back in. Oh, off the woodwork by Chuknowski. Now fired in and a goal. Nope, whistle. So Strickler.
Flag was up, offside.
Offside's the call. So initial shot went off of the post, all the way back. Chuknowski heads it over. Grabbed by Lucas Anderson. Lucas Anderson back over to Templeton. Templeton gets it over the center line. Adonis Anderson back to Lucas Anderson. Lucas Anderson bringing it ahead, trying to get it through traffic, gets it back, trying to move it over to Kerbaway. Kerbaway gets through traffic into the 18. Kerbaway with a shot that goes wide to the near side.
Substitution for Belleville. Number 12, Alexander Patten. And number 14, Ryan Diltz. For Pioneer, number 14, Santi Fiori.
Fiori in for Pioneer. Walton knocks it over on the far touch line. Now Austin Rupno. That went into the stands. Is that thrown down, Kerbaway. Moving it over, Strickler gets it to Lucas Anderson. Lucas Anderson. That goes just wide to the far side. Walton has it set at the 6. Walton over to Hollenquist. Hollenquist gets it to Najera. Najera has that. Strickler trying to get to it. Najera. Move his body to move it away. Now Ignonen. Back over that, deflected back. Here comes Lucas Anderson. Lucas Anderson moves it over to Strickler. Strickler Back to Van Ryan right at the center line. Now over to Adonis Anderson on the near touchline. Adonis Anderson, he's dispossessed by Najera. Brought back by Templeton over the center line. Templeton comes down the center of the pitch, now drifts over to the near wing. Walton passed it right back into the middle third. Templeton gets his way through traffic, comes down on the near wing over to Fiore. Fiore back over to Templeton. Templeton lifts it into the 18. That headed over but grabbed. Oh, Kerbaway with a beautiful head. But good job by Bailey to feel where the pressure was going to come from and move over to it. Sent back right to the center line. Spinning with it, Chuknowski. Keeping possession ahead to Lucas Anderson. Lucas Anderson rolls it over to Kennard. Kennard ahead to Lucas Anderson. He has that pulled away by Ignonin. All the way back down the touchline into the far corner of the Pioneer zone. Now Wilhelm. That goes all the way down on the far touchline. Kennard brings it ahead, trying to avoid pressure, as that is going to be foul in a restart, as that ball will be right just at the 15-yard line on the far touchline. So here comes the free kick in the offensive third. That high as Lucas Anderson moves it over, headed right back into the 18. Wilhelm grabs that in along the end line. Wilhelm all the way over to Kennard on the far touchline. Kennard moves it ahead. Now racing down with it. Getting ahead with it. Here comes, moving over is Kerbaway. Kerbaway stops with it. Kerbaway with a shot that deflected by Walton. All the way back. Wilhelm will let that roll out back in the defensive third. Kennard with the throw-in.
Substitutions, number 5, Josh Jacob.
Jacob comes in for Pioneer.
Number 6, Rafa Carrillo.
Carrillo comes in
And
for
number
Pioneer.
19, Micah Jacobson.
Jacobson comes in for Pioneer. 25 minutes, 9 seconds left to go here. In the second, 5-0 Pioneer with the lead as Kerfkins ahead to Jacobson. Jacobson on that far touchline and moved back over and sent out the end line by Galindez. Again, every game we broadcast of these districts will be delayed broadcast right after the game's ending. Templeton comes ahead with it. Templeton over Adonis Anderson with it. Adonis Anderson moves it back. Adonis Anderson gets it ahead. Over on the far wing. Here comes Pioneers. Kennard feeds it. That knocked down. Chipped over to Kerbaway. Kerbaway into the far corner, but a whistle. And offsides. 24 minutes left to go here in the second. Pioneer up 5-0. All knocked down, coming over onto the far wing. Again knocked down by Jacob. Over Jacobson with it. Jacobson trying to avoid pressure by Najera. Over to Adonis Anderson on the near wing. Adonis Anderson gets ahead to Strickler. Strickler in, trying to get it over to Fiore, but that knocked away back into the middle third. Now coming the other direction is Najera. Najera that moved back. Lindez. Here comes Pioneer, curb away, trying to feed it through traffic, brought back over. Now Carrillo trying to get past into the 18. That went off of Mears out the end line. That should be a corner for Pioneer.
Carrillo will have the ball.
So Carrillo's set to take the corner. Carrillo puts that up high into the far corner. Curb away. Keeps it in play. Moves it back to Kennard. Kennard off of a defender. Kennard trying to set it in deep. Fiore back and out the end line. That should be another corner for Pioneer. As this time Kerfkins to take the corner. Kerfkins with the corner, that low and grabbed by Bailey. Bailey rolls it out onto the far wing for Diltz. Diltz coming down with it. Pioneer puts it onto the center of the pitch for Kennard. Kennard over to Fiore. Fiore just inside the attacking third. And bouncing ball in the 18. Kerbaway trying to get to it, but that's sent out the far touchline. Kerfkins now with the throw-in. Kerfkins has it back. A pair of defenders in front of him. Gets it over to Kennard. Kennard coming down the far touchline, trying to avoid pressure as he goes down. That will be free kick for Pioneer on the far touchline, inside the attacking third. As Pioneer gets everyone set. Low line drive knocked away as everyone keeping a lot of their shots a little lower due to the wind. Back over to Templeton. Templeton has it on the near wing. Templeton moves ahead to Fiore. Fiore and make his way to the center of the pitch. Back over to Carrillo. Carrillo got tangled up but comes away with it. Carrillo trying to get through pressure. Back over to Fiore. Fiore with a shot and knocked away. Hollenquist got a foot on it, put it out the far touchline. That'll be a throw-in. Good hard work in the center by Pioneer. That goes out. As under 20 minutes to go now, halfway through the second.
Substitution.
5-0 Pioneer with the lead.
17, James Graves.
James Graves comes in for Belleville.
Pioneer, number 12.
Seinfeld Chop comes in for Pioneer.
Elon Seinfeld Chop. Number 23, Felix Starosa.
Starosa comes in as
and
well.
Number 30, Abdul Kaba.
Kaba back in for Pioneer as well. Ball gathered in. Adonis Anderson feeds it to the center line, but knocked down by Belleville. Racing over to grab that was Najera. Trying to come away, got tangled up. Seinfeld Chop ended up on the pitch. Najera with the restart. Just a touch inside the middle third. And lifted, knocked down by Seinfeld Chop. Trying to move it ahead. Here comes Pioneer racing ahead with it over the center line. That was Kerfkins with it. Now over to Jacobson. Jacobson trying to get through pressure. That knocked back. Right around the center line is Patton. Patton gets brought ahead. Down. Adonis Anderson will chase it into the near corner. Just let it go, as that will be Pioneer with a kick from the 6. 18-18 left to go here in the second. 5-0 Pioneer with the lead. Wilhelm This moves it, touches it over onto the far wing to Jacob. Seinfeld chop ahead. Over on the far wing, Pioneer feeds it as Kerfkin's trying to put it down the pitch. Belleville will have it on the far touchline with the throw-in. That will be Pioneers throwing. Or restart, excuse me. Seinfeld chop. Lifts it high. Headed by Fiore now. Kaba trying to get to it. Kaba between a pair of defenders and knocked away. Fiore has it. Moved back over. Coming down the near wing, Carrillo puts it into the near corner. Adonis Anderson trying to keep it in, couldn't quite do it. 16:56 left to go.
Ryan Queen, number 0, in for Pioneer in the field.
So Queen comes
Correction in goal.
in goal. So Queen comes
Goalkeeper change.
to patrol the 18. Zach coming down on the far side of the pitch. Kerfkin's trying to keep it in. Kerfkin's trying to get it to Carrillo down there battling with Diltz. And will be Diltz with the throw-in on the far touchline. 16:15 left to go here in the second. Jacob chases it all the way back. Jacob moves it over to Queen. Queen back over. Brought ahead to Jacobson. Jacobson moves that over to Kennard. Kennard over to Adonis Anderson. Adonis Anderson brings it up the near side of the pitch. Adonis Anderson feeds it over the center line. And brought ahead Starosta. Starosta has it over to Kaba. Kaba trying to cut towards the end line. Kaba looking for, looking for a cross. And Carrillo there, but couldn't quite get to that cross as it comes all the way back onto the Pioneer side of midfield. As bringing it down, that into the far corner. Starosa has it there. Starosa trying to get it back over to Kerfkins. That deflects. Brought back the other way. Grabbing it is Diltz on the far touchline. Diltz chips it up high. Now brought ahead. As racing ahead with it was Galindez into the far corner. Patton chasing it. Jacob watching him. Jacob comes away with it. Jacob makes a nice move coming down the far touchline. Jacob, as that will be a foul, and Pioneer will kick it quickly away, trying to keep tempo. Kaba with it. Kaba gets it ahead. Starosta. Starosta moving it over. Fiore coming ahead with it and can't quite get to it before Bailey does. Oh, Fiore went full throttle all the way down. Bailey able to get to it first. Now racing the other direction with it. Coming in with it is the great off and in, as that was Najero. Najero puts it in. Queen raced over to get it, and that went off of the woodwork on the near side.
Oscar Najera puts Belleville on the board. Ann Arbor Pioneer 5, Belleville 1.
With the goal, that makes it Pioneer 5, Belleville 1.
Alex Reifler into the game for Pioneer.
Reifler in for Pioneer. Fiore coming down on the near side of the pitch. Fiore gets it ahead to Starosta. Back over, trying to get to Fiore, as that knocked down and offsides. Take 30 seconds off the clock, I believe.
Clock will be adjusted. To 30 seconds left.
Brought ahead with it. Starosta has it. Starosta trying to make a move. That deflected back. Starosta has it. Starosta over to, coming over, Adonis Anderson into the near corner. And brought back. Starosta getting it into the 18, but knocked away. Kerfkin's trying to get a piece on it. Now heading the other direction is Belleville. And all the way back down, grabbing it. Jacob gets it over to Queen. Lifted ahead. Carrillo had it. That knocked by Belleville. Back into the 18, and Queen with a beautiful save is able to dive to get it. Racing down, I believe that was Patton. Trying to get on top of that, but Queen able to save that away. All the way down into the 18, Bailey grabs it. 12:35 left to go here in the second. 4-goal lead for Pioneer. And we'll go out the far touchline. Pioneer with the throw-in.
Now in for Belleville, number 21, Lucas Altman.
Altman. Coming into the far corner, that tipped out the end line. Throw in on the far touchline by Belleville. Whistle. Seinfeld chop with the throw-in. Seinfeld chop gets it down the far side of the pitch. And Carrillo over to Caba. Caba moves it back. Starosta moves it over to Kerfkins. Kerfkins trying to keep it in. Not quite able to do it. Valiant attempt. That brought back and thrown over. Headed back by Seinfeld chop. Knocked down Caba with it. Caba over to Jacobson. Jacobson ahead to Carrillo. Carrillo makes a good move to try and avoid pressure. And putting it down on that far wing. Chipped back over but knocked down by Hollenquist. Into the 18, trying to get it over. That goes out the end line as Kerfkins active. Ten minutes, 30 seconds left to go. Here in the second, corner for Pioneer. In the far corner. Carrillo to take the corner. That headed back over. Now Fiore with a shot, and oh, it just goes wide. Bailey got a good piece of it as the keeper, Fiore, with a beautiful shot, but Bailey drives it wide.
Pioneer
That will be a corner.
Change. Now in number 99, Cole Peroff.
Peroff in for Pioneer at the keeper position. Carrillo in the near corner to take another corner. Carrillo sends it low and pulled away. Here comes Belleville the other direction, racing down with it. That's sent deep by Harper. Knocked down, gathered in. Now Najera bringing it ahead. Najera has the lone Belleville goal. Over on the far side is Altman. Altman has that knocked away. Caba pulling it down for Pioneer. Caba over to Jacobson. Jacobson heads towards the far side of the pitch. Jacobson trying to get past pressure. Over to Seinfeld Chop. Seinfeld Chop coming down on that far touchline. Seinfeld Chop ends up down on the pitch right in front of his own bench. .850 left to go. Here in the second, 5-1, Pioneer with the lead. does restart into the 18. That headed up and trying to hold it in the far corner was Agonin. Brought all the way back. And will be a corner for Pioneer. Carrillo on the corner for Pioneer in the far corner.
And our substitutions, number 15, Jack
As
Templeton,
headed by Starosta.
and number 17,
Grabbed by Bailey. Good attempt. Bailey fires it down the near side of the pitch. That pops up over to Diltz. Diltz hits it over to Galindez. Galindez moving it ahead. That's Najera all the way down. And lifted on the near side. Headed back behind. Chasing over. Jacob trying to chase it. That cross all the way back as Najera had a cross. Trying to move it over on the far wing and not quite able to pull it in. Over on that far side was Altman. Paroff to kick it away from the 6. Paroff gets air underneath it. That headed right back the other way by Agonin. Pressure coming by Belleville. Now on the near side, trying to move it over. Racing ahead is Galindez. Galindez moves it back as there's a ball into the near corner. Najera has it there. Najera coming down the end line. Now Najera. And sent down the near touchline. Fiore bringing it for Pioneer. Fiore racing down the near side of the pitch. Fiore rockets it ahead. Starosta has it. Starosta fires that towards the goal. Grabbed by Bailey. 6:24 left to go here. In the second, 5-1 Pioneer with the lead. That ball goes out the far touchline, quickly thrown in by Belleville. Belleville trying to keep heavy pressure on. Is that ball out the end line? Reifler trying to battle and keep that last touch by Belleville. So that will be a goal kick by Paroff. So they'll have that right on the end line, as they'll say a foul was committed there. So not a goal kick, but free kick from the goal line. And sent all the way down, trying to get to it. Pioneer unable to hold it in as Rivera chased down that far touchline. Sent all the way in again, Reifler. Rolled up on from behind. That ball grabbed in along. That will result in a goal kick by Paroff. 5 minutes left to go. No, it's going to be a free kick. As that ball launched back, now that goes out the far touchline. Belleville with the throw in, 4 minutes, 40 seconds left to go. 5-1 Pioneer with the lead. Belleville with the quick throw in, as that goes just wide to the far side. That's going to be last touch by Pioneer. That will be a corner for Belleville. So Agonin will take the corner.
Luca Agonin with the ball.
As rain coming down, Agonin puts it up high. That headed back onto the near side. Fiore trying to drive it wide. And that goes out the end line. I believe Altman was the last one to touch it. Paroff Sends it down on the far wing. Jacob brings it ahead. And here comes Jacobson. He's dispossessed. Racing ahead with it. Knocked away. Good job by Templeton as he rips that all the way down the pitch. Here comes Starosta. Starosa trying to move it ahead to Rivera. Rivera down on that far wing. Rivera. And offsides for Pioneer. 3:15 left to go. Yellow card there.
Lucas Strickler, number 13, now in for Pioneer.
And brought all the way back, racing ahead with it. Coming in, shot, Paroff with the save. As that ball got back, and Najera racing ahead with it. Paroff able to make the nifty save, and that goes down on the near side. That'll be a foul. And a restart. 2:45 left to go here. As that launched all the way back by Jacobson. Into the 18, Fiore trying to grab it. Bailey grabs that. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left to go. 5-1. Pioneer with the lead. Right at the center line, moved over by Altman. Sent back. Down by Ignonen. Ignonen has it, knocked away by Jacobson. Trying to work through, and that will be quickly kicked away onto the far side by Belleville. They launch it all the way down the far touchline. 2 minutes left to go as that's an offsides. Thought it was, but restart by Belleville. 1 minute, 44 seconds left to go. 5-1, Pioneer with the lead. Is that over into the 18, knocked out. Good job by Reifler to get that all the way out the far touchline. 1 minute, 30 seconds left to go. Quickly thrown in. Again into the 18 on the edge. That knocked down. Now brought out. Fired, and that will go out wide to the near side. Belleville with plenty of pressure in the waning moments. 1 minute, 10 seconds left to go. Pioneer will play the winner of Huron versus Dexter. That will be at 5:30 on the 18th at
1 minute
Saline.
remaining.
Again, we
1
will have
minute.
that game for you, but it will be delayed as the game will go available to be streamed 5 minutes after the game has concluded. Kaba has it ahead. Now that fired all the way down in along the far wing. Brought back ahead. As coming over. Got it just wide by Wilkins. 33 seconds left to go. Seconds left to go. Walton has it and moved over. Belleville controls, getting it back to Agonin on the far wing. 10 seconds left to go. All the way back down, grabbed by Paroff. Paroff. And that will do it. Pioneer will advance as they will play on the 18th, 5:30 at Saline. Again, we will have that game for you after the fact, as it will go live to stream right after the game has been completed. So, for my camera person, Christina Wiseman, my name is Mark Wiseman. Thank you very much. Final score, 5-1 Pioneer. With the lead, they will advance. We will be back on the air tomorrow with Michigan women's hockey, and then on Friday with Pioneer football, as they will host the senior game versus Monroe. For Christine Wiseman, my name is Mark Wiseman. Thank you and good night.